Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will do very important current affairs of 20 and 21st of September 2020. You can see here in the image that there are two very important current affairs and there are two or three more important current affairs in today news. First of all, I want to discuss about our PDF's current affairs that you can subscribe below by going to the description box, and there is a link of subscription you can see here. What you will get in the subscription, you will get the daily current affairs, you will get weekly current affairs, you will also get the monthly current affairs that should be in the PDF form. And there is a two very important things in the monthly PDF. That one is the banking and finance and economy PDF. This is very important for the IBPS students and the SBI exam students. And second is the current affairs pocket PDF. This is for the revision. So these are provided at a very minimal cost, and these current affairs are provided on a single subscription of 1 year. And if you want 10% extra discount on that minimal cost, you can use my code, that is ASH10. This is my name initials, and you will get 10% extra discount. So let's start today's news and watch the news till the end, guys, because there are two or three very important news of the day which can be asked in exam. So starting with our first news, and first news is who released a report named as Indian Japan time to resize new opportunity over a virtual platform. So this report, the named as India Japan time to seize new opportunities, it means it is report related to the India and Japan relations. So this report is prepared by the two organizations. One is the FICI, FICI, that is the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and second is the SAM, that is the Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas. This is a law firm and this is the Indian organization. Both simultaneously released this report. So this report stated the bilateral relation between India and Japan, and they also focused on the defense and security between the India and the Japan. Even the foreign direct investment from Japan have increased from the number of the Japan-based companies in India also increased. So it means the FDI which are coming from the Japan increased because the number of the companies that are Japanese-based also increased in India. Even the who released that report, that is the S. Jaishankar, he also stated that the Japan is the only nation which have an annual summit and 22 dialogues with India. So it is very important because it is just to strengthen the relationship of the India and Japan. So S. Jaishankar released this report, and S. Jaishankar is the foreign minister, or you can say external affairs minister of India. So you can see here external affairs minister, that is the S. Jaishankar, and here is very important FICI chairman. Who is FICI chairman? The president, basically president is the Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, who is currently senior vice president, that is Mr. Uday Shankar, but no need to remember the senior vice president, just remember the president of FICI, that is Dr. Sangeeta Reddy. This is very important, guys. So this is another firm, that is the FICI SAM. SAM is the Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas. No need to remember because it is a law firm. So report name India Japan time to seize new opportunity. This is very important, and it is just to increase, or you can say government of India is targeting the Japanese investors so that they can invest in the Indian market, so that FDI of the Japanese companies can be increased, or you can say more employment opportunities can be created in India. So this is the main target. So moving to the next question, and there is very important news related to Japan. Japan new Prime Minister is Yoshihide Suga. So remember this also. Moving to the next question, who attended 53rd annual meeting of Board of Governor of Asian Development Bank? So most important keyword under this news is the Asian Development Bank. There are two or three things under the Asian Development you have to remember. One is the headquarter of Asian Development Bank. One is the member countries of the Asian Development Bank. Third is the who is currently the president of the Asian Development Bank. And last one is the when was ADB established? It means the establishment year. So establishment year is 1966. You have to remember. President is the Mast, M-A-S-A-T, Mast Sugu. Mast Sugu is the president. Total member countries are 68 countries, and headquarter is in Manila, Philippines. Headquarter is in Manila, Philippines. And who inaugurated this annual meeting? That is the our finance minister Nirmala Sitharamanji inaugurated this Asian Development Bank Board of Governor meeting. So you can see here Nirmala Sitharaman ji and ADB, that is the Asian Development Bank. So what was the main focus of this meeting and what she suggested to the ADB? She invited all Asian Development Bank countries to set up South Asia Sub-Regional Economic Cooperation and secretariat in India, so that their head office of this organization can be set up in India, and a private sector operation branch offices in Mumbai, so that they can utilize or they can increase the investment of the private sector in India by the ADB countries. So the finance minister also stressed the need of global development approach and a long-term approach for addressing poverty. Even she also urged the Asian Development Bank to provide more funds so that they can increase the programs related to the poverty elevation and promote employment generation. So that's why she asked about the ADB funding so that the poverty can be eliminated and they can promote the employment generation. So this is very important because Nirmala Sitharaman outlined 2 or 3 strategies to the ADB countries. So this is very important. So remember about ADB, nothing more to remember. Move to the next question. Which country with India resumed joint coordinated border patrol to prevent criminal activities? And it is a border country of India. And I am giving you hint that India is sharing maximum boundary with this country. And maximum boundary is with the Bangladesh. So answer is very simple. That is Bangladesh. India is sharing 4096 kilometer of boundary with Bangladesh. Now, what about the coordinated border patrol to prevent criminal activities? So both the countries ensuring each other to eliminate illegal human trafficking and to control the criminal activities of both the countries. Even Bangladesh assured to restrict entry to the Indian insurgent groups that plan anti-Indian activities. They also focused on the bordering villages, and the resident of bordering villages between India and Bangladesh will be issued daily passes so that they can visit their relatives or they can do their works within the border areas. Both the countries have agreed not to undertake any developmental projects with 150 yards of border area without prior intimation. So these are very important things between the India and Bangladesh are going on. So this is just to strengthen the relation between India and Bangladesh. So remember Bangladesh, there is a river which comes from China and goes from Arunachal and Assam and then go to Bangladesh, and this river name is Yamuna in Bangladesh, and India it is known as Brahmaputra. It is also known as Dehang in India, in Arunachal area. So Yamuna name of Brahmaputra in Bangladesh. There is another river that is a distributary of Ganga. This is the Padma. When Padma and Yamuna met, both become Meghna. So remember this also. So I am repeating again. Yamuna is a name of Brahmaputra in Bangladesh, and Padma is a distributary of Ganga which go to the Bangladesh. So Yamuna and Padma when met, it becomes Meghna and drain into Bay of Bengal. So remember 2 or 3 things, and please give me reply of one question, that Bangladesh is sharing boundary with how many states, that is how many states of India, and name that states in comment box. I am reading comment box daily. You are appreciating, even some are encouraging me, and even some are also pushing me to do better work. So this is you for guys. So this is the extra information about Bangladesh. You know, Prime Minister of Bangladesh is Sheikh Hasina. Moving to the next question, and Bangladesh currency is the taka, and Bangladesh capital is the Dhaka. So both the countries agreed to share the real-time intelligence on the smuggling syndicates, list of smugglers to control and prevent criminal activities. And there is one most important part, that is the 6-member border security force delegation was led by Director General Rakesh Asthana, who is the Director General of BSF, that is the Rakesh Asthana. Remember this, guys. Both India and Bangladesh agreed to take measures to prevent human trafficking and illegal crossing of international borders. So this is very important. Remember this also, that Border Security Force Director General is Rakesh Asthana. Moving to next question. Which recently time period of company law committee increased by 1 year? Who is the chairman of this committee? This committee was constituted in September 2019 for the 1 year time period, and it means that the time period of this committee was completed in 2020. But again, now time period increased for 1 year. But the chairman is changed now. Who is the new chairman of, you can say that, new chairman of this committee? So answer is very simple. Answer is Rajesh Verma. Because when it was established in September 2019, chairman was Injetti Srinivas. But now Injetti Srinivas becomes the chairman of International Finance Authority based in Gandhinagar. So Injetti Srinivas now not a chairman of this company law committee. Now chairman is the Rajesh Verma. So you can see here Rajesh Verma, that is the chairman of company law committee. Time period is now till September 2021. So what is the main aim of this committee? Main aim just to improve and enhance the functioning of National Company Law Tribunal. This is very important. National Company Law Tribunal, that is the NCLT. It is a judicial organ of the companies, so that the companies dispute between the companies can be settled at the National Company Law Tribunal. Who is currently chairman? That is the Justice M.M. Kumar. He was Chief Justice of Jammu and Kashmir, former Chief Justice of Jammu and Kashmir, M.M. Kumar. So the committee will examine and suggest recommendation to the government on the various provisions and issues related to the implementation of Companies Act 2013, because original year of the Companies Act is 1956, but in 2013 it was amended. That's why the year become the Companies Act 2013. So if there will be change according to the committee, the year will be changed. At the time of formation of the committee, Injetti Srinivas was the chairman, but remember 2 or 3 days back I covered this news that Injetti Srinivas become the chairman of the that is the International Financial Service Authority based in the Gandhinagar. So moving to the next question, who is appointed as the new chief of the National Technical Research Organization? This organization is very important, mark under very important section. This question is very important. NTRO. NTRO is responsible for the geospatial intelligence and the satellite imagery. So this is very important organization for the government under the intelligence sector. And this organization comes under the National Security Advisor, and who is currently Ajit Doval. Ajit Doval is the National Security Advisor of India. So who is the new chief of National Technical Research Organization? Answer is Anil Dasmana. Anil Dasmana is the new chairman of NTRO. Satish Chandra Jha recently resigned 2-3 days back, that is on the 17th September 2020. He resigned. Who is this Sumant Goyal? He is currently chairman of the RAW, that is the Research and Analysis Wing, and Arvind Kumar is the currently head of Director General of the Intelligence Bureau. So remember all the 4 options because all are important. Satish Chandra Jha recently resigned as a director, or you can say as a new chief of the National Technical Research Organization. Anil Dasmana is the National Technical Research or new chief, and Sumant Goyal is the RAW head, and Arvind Kumar is the head of the IB. Even Anil Dasmana is also the former chief of the RAW. He was served for in the year 2017 to 2019, but he is now appointed as the chairman of the NTRO, and he is appointed for the 2 years. He was the head planner behind the February 2019 air strikes on Balakot. So all know about the Balakot. What about NTRO chairman? I already told you, that is Anil Dasmana. Headquarters is in New Delhi. And what is the function of NTRO? I already told you. Moving to the next question, engineering students of which institute have developed a Swasnair? Swasnair means breathing, a first of its kind helmet-like ventilation device. So if you are facing a breathing problem due to COVID-19, then by wearing this device, this is like a ventilator device, then you can eliminate that breathing problem. So it is very important, and it is launched by IIIT Bhubaneswar, that is International Institute of Information and Technology, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Odisha is very important, guys, because there is a Sariska Biosphere Reserve and Sariska National Park. There is a Bhitarkanika National Park. There is a Usha Koti National Park. There is a program in Odisha started by the Naveen Patnaik ji related to the prevention of the olive turtles. That is also in Odisha. There is a main port of Odisha is the Paradip port. There are so many things important in Odisha. So remember, IIIT Bhubaneswar, you can see the device. This is a helmet-like device you can wear from the top to till neck, and it is prepared by the IIIT Bhubaneswar. This is a 7 students team of engineering department. So this device named as the Swasnair. Swasnair, Swas means breathe. So it helps patient breathe more conveniently. The designed hyperbaric chamber is a low-cost device to help COVID-19 patient. It will provide you oxygen, and it is designed as bubble enclosure for the head. So there is a bubble closure. If you will go for diving, there is a bubble enclosure so that the air cannot get out. So that's why there is a bubble closer. Now moving to the next question, what is the name of the app launched by Southern Railway as a part of its effort to boost freight trafficking, add more customer to its base? So this is again very important news, guys, because if you want to increase the goods trafficking, it means you want to transfer one good to another place, then you can use the railway as a medium. So to boost the movement of goods from one place to another, and this is through by the railway. So there is a app launched by the Southern Railway. Southern Railway headquarters is in Chennai. It means the Chennai division of the Southern Railway started this type of app so that the customers can easily get an approximate quote for a commodity to any rail destination. So it means by filling the destination name, you can get the approximate quote for the commodity you want to transfer. And this app named is the Freight Seva. Freight Seva. So this is very simple question. So remember this. Freight Seva. It is started by Chennai division of Southern Railway. So remember, Southern division is in Chennai, Western division is in Mumbai, Eastern division is in Calcutta, and Northern division is in Delhi. So there are four main divisions. So there are other divisions, that is the Southwest, East, that is Southwest, Southeast, Northwest, and the Northeast. So main aim is to boost freight traffic and the more customers to its base. So all the things I already told you. Moving to the next question. Tom Hanks is the Forrest Gump. This is a very important novel, that is the Forrest Gump. It was written by this person, that is the Vincent Groom, but he was passed away at the age of 90 years. This Forrest Gump, I think you know this name by the name of the movie, but firstly, it was a novel and it was released in it was written in 1985 but released in 1986. After that, Vincent Groom again wrote a novel about the Forrest Gump, but the title changed now. Title was the Gump and Company. Gump and Company. After that, a director named as the Robert make the film that named as the Forrest Gump in 1994, where Tom Hanks, you can see here Tom Hanks was the main hero of the movie. So remember the name of the movie, that is the Forrest Gump. Director of the movie, that is the Robert. No need to remember the year, but also they can ask the author of the Forrest Gump novel, that is the Vincent Groom. So he passed away recently at the age of 90. He also wrote so many novels. One of that is Better Times Than These, The Aviators, The Generals. These are also authored by the Vincent Groom. So remember this name. This is very important. WG. How you can remember this name? You can remember, the Forrest Gump hero is the Tom. So you can also remember TOM. There is a Tom in the name. So remember this, Tom Hanks, that is the Vincent Groom. Moving to the next question, that is very important question. Mark under very important section. Write this question, remember this question, learn this question. What is the name of the former governor of Reserve Bank of India who recently passed away? I am giving you one hint that this governor has very short time period. It means the shortest time period of any governor of RBI is this governor who recently passed away. And that person is Amitabh Ghosh. You can remember his name, a very important personality, Amitabh Ghosh. In 1985, he was appointed as a governor, but he was appointed only for the 21 years because he was serving as a deputy governor, and in emergency, he was appointed as a governor. And when another person came, he was again appointed as deputy governor. So he was just appointed for 21 days. So it is Amitabh Ghosh who recently passed away. You can see here, he is the shortest serving governor of RBI. That is just for 21 days. 15 Jan 1985 to February 4, that is 1985. So he was the 16th governor. He was serving at that time as a deputy governor, but in emergency he was appointed as a governor for 21 days. He was served as a deputy governor of RBI for 10 years, because first for the 1982-87, then got extension for the 5 years. That is again for the 5 years. And first governor of the RBI, that is the Osborne Smith. Currently governor is the Shaktikant Das. He is the 25th governor of the RBI. Remember this also. Now tell me, guys, who is the longest serving governor of the RBI? It means the maximum time period assumed as a governor of the RBI. So he was the first governor of the RBI after independence. And after independence, the first governor of RBI, that is the B.R. Rao, Benegal Rama Rao. and he was served as a RBI governor from 1949 to 1957. That is almost 8 years he served as a governor of the RBI, and he was also first governor of the RBI after independence, and served as the maximum length of the governor as a RBI. So remember this. Move to the next question, that is the International Coastal Cleanup Day 2020, 19 September. So remember, 19 September is celebrated as International Coastal Cleanup Day, and it is very important because India is under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. That's why this is very important day. So this day was celebrated since 1986, and it was celebrated by almost 100 countries. And main aim, by the name you can guess that main aim, to clean beaches, waterways and ocean to protect them from the impact of plastic and the trash. Even on that day, India also announced that it is the first time that eight beaches of India get blue flag, but get blue flag tag. So this is very important question. What is blue flag certification or blue flag tag? A blue flag tag is given to those beaches which are under the, you can say, the clean beaches, that is the environment friendly, even on the purpose of the safety related, and even access related criteria. Everyone has access to that beaches, so they are clean, they are safe, they are environmental protected, even they are educationally improvised, so that beaches get the tag of blue flag. But who is giving that blue flag tag? That blue flag tag is given by a Denmark based company, that is the Foundation for Environmental Education, that is also known as FEE, Foundation for Environment Education. It is a Denmark based company which are giving these blue flags, and first time it is 8 beaches of India gets the blue flag tag or the blue flag certification. So this FEE, that is the Foundation for Environmental Education, is the world largest environmental education organization. So remember these words, and this is very important day. There are 2 or 3 things you have to remember. One is the 19th September, second is the blue flag. Moving to the next question, and this is the first time that first International Equal Pay Day is celebrated on 18th September 2020, because according to global survey, if a man has a salary of $1, then woman getting 77 cents for the same work. So there is a 23% you can say gender gap between the pay system. So the United Nations General Assembly last year declared that 18th September will be celebrated as Equal Pay Day, because there is a lot of gender gap, even male and female. If the same work is given to the male and the female, the salary of the male will be high and salary of female will be low. So to reduce this gap, we will celebrate the day of the Equal Pay Day, and it is on the 18th September. So how you will remember the 18th September? So remember, on 18th September, I will receive a salary. So this is the trick to remember the Equal Pay Day. So this is very important. So remember, because it is the first time celebrated internationally. Move to the next question. Director of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship signed a MOU with which state for giving vocational training? So just remember one thing, that this vocational training will provide to those workers who want to work in the industrial productions, and vocational training also provided so that maximum to maximum employment opportunities can be created by the industries. So this is the main purpose of the vocational training, and it is started by the Goa Institute of Management ties up with the skill development and entrepreneurship program under the vocational training program. You can see here it is started by the Goa. Memorandum of Understanding with Goa Institute of Management for giving vocational training to increase the skill sets of the Industrial Training Institute trainers, so that maximum employment opportunities can be created and maximum to maximum persons can be employed. The training program would engage ITI trainers in the industrial production and services executed under craftsman training scheme. There will be a craftsman course, so that handicraft can be also created, so that the image of the state can be improved. The committee will be formed by the government to review the monitor the process, so that how much persons are getting training and how much are getting jobs, so that the ratio can be generated to improve the employment. Move to the next question. Which state government launched Mukhyamantri Mahila Utkarsh Yojana scheme to provide interest-free loans to women groups? First, you have to remember this scheme name, Mukhyamantri Mahila Utkarsh Yojana, and mark under this very important section Recently, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana also started this type of scheme, that is the collateral-free loans to the women groups. And now this state is the Gujarat, that is the Mukhyamantri Mahila Utkarsh Yojana. Vijay Rupani ji started this type of scheme, up to 1 lakh rupees given to the women groups, under which if the women group is composed of 10 women, then they can get the loan up to 1 lakh rupees. You can see here Vijay Rupani ji started this Mukhyamantri Mahila Utkarsh Yojana, and they are giving up to rupees 1 lakh to the women groups, and total 1000 crore to these groups can be given by the state government, which are registered under the joint liability and earning group consisting of 10 women members. A total of 10 lakh women across the state are covered under this scheme, and the interest which are given by the farmers, or the, you can say, the women groups, they are borne by the state government. All the interest borne by the state government, which are charged by the banks on the loans. So remember this scheme. This is very important, and it is by the Gujarat. So Gujarat is very famous state because it belongs to the Narendra Modi ji, Amit Shah ji, and you can see here there is a wildlife sanctuaries and very protected areas. One is the Kutch Biosphere Reserve. Second is the Girnar Wildlife Sanctuary is also there. There you can see here the Gir National Forest, Gir Forest Park National Park. Wildlife Sanctuary is also there. Kutch Desert Wildlife Sanctuary is also there. Even Narayan Sarovar Wildlife Sanctuary is also there. Marine Wildlife Sanctuary is also there. So there are so many things. Nal Sarovar Bird Sanctuary is also there. So very important things are in the Gujarat. So remember all the things which are announced. Moving to the next, and this is from the picture, that there are two companies. One is the Bombardier, and second is the Alstom. Alstom is a French-based company, and Bombardier is the basically Canadian company. And both companies are related to the train manufacturing, electrification. Even Bombardier is also related to the aircraft manufacturing. But now both companies merged under one company, and you no need to remember these all the things. Just remember who is giving the approval for the merger. This is the CCI. Always CCI gives the approval for the merger, that is the Competition Commission of India. So you have to remember one thing, that who is the chairman of the Competition Commission of India. So this is very important news. And who is the chairman? That is the Ashok Kumar Gupta. Remember the name, Ashok Kumar Gupta. So this is very important. Moving to the next question, and this is not the question, this is info, learn from picture series. This is the information that India is improving the Make in India concept, and they also want to promote the Make in India concept in the procurement industry. If anyone relate to the procurement of anything like the goods, services, or anything, then they have to take approval from the government if they are procuring less than 200 crore. So this is very important because it will increase the Make in India concept, because less than 200 crore, it means you have to take government permission if they are foreign company, and in India you can boost the Make in India concept. Even this Make in India concept also focused under the procurement section, that they restricted the foreign certification companies. It means the participation in the procurement process is disallowed for the countries which bar Indian companies from being part of their government procurement process in any item. It means if an Indian company not allowed to participate in the other country's government procurement process, it means the country is not allowed in India for the procurement process. So that is a tit for tat process. So you have to remember that this is to boost the Make in India concept. So remember, just no need to learn this thing. So this is all for today. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, then subscribe this channel, and guys, please provide the 300 likes, because it will motivate us to make more videos on the different topics. So this is very important. Your likes will motivate us, and it is Affairs Cloud promise. It will boost your confidence in the general awareness section, and also it is my personal promise. If you watch the videos daily, that is just for 1 month, and you are learning from our current affairs PDF, then after 1 month you can realize how much you are efficient in the current affairs, and no question will be wrong in the current affairs section. So it is Affairs Cloud promise that it will provide you best quality of current affairs. So thank you for watching this video. Again, take care.